Okay, let's start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So my name is Teresa. I'm the member of the government. So today's motion is about this house would impoverish corruptors. So first of all, I wanted to giving some rebuttals to the opposite side. So first, the leader of opposition was point out about the justice system. But we think this is a kind of punishment is surely support the justice system, because the corruptors stole money. So to impoverish them is surely to pay back those money and also making them aware for the mistake that they did. So this is kind of an equality. Money pay back with the money or pay back with the asset with the same value or the same amount with those money. So second, I want to rebuttal about what's opposite said that the child of the corruptors is being lost their education because their parents is corruptors. You say that the government don't think about the impact to their children, don't care about the impact to their children. But this is the funny thing. This is precisely to educate or teach those children to know the corruption is such kind of the bad thing. And this can be such a lesson for them, and to their parents who's doing the corruption, they are such a bad parents. They don't thinking longer about the risks of their action to their family, to their child. So the government really agreed to impoverish them to giving this punishment to these corruptors. And this can be a real example to the other politician or many other people who goes on the government or on the politics on the company to do not doing this corruption and think furthermore impact to their self and to their other people. And for the third rebuttal, the opposite side said that this kind of punishment is enough. Have you looked at the status quo that you said this is not fair for the corruptors, and you said this totally enough? Like what I'm saying in the previous argument, that they don't think about their family, of their corruptors and etc. But as what we know in reality, that many corruptors, they don't suffer in the prison. They still enjoy their life in the prisons like a king, and like the facilities is really totally comfort for them, because they still have money to pay a high quality jail for them. So we really agree to impoverish them, to making them poverty, to prevent this kind of bad habits, this kind of corruption being appear and never happen again. I wanted to giving some example of this kind of thing that really connected to my argument. Let's taking back in the 2019. Setia Novanto is one of the corruptor in that time. He stay in the high quality prison, in the luxurious prison with the bed, there is a table, there is a fan, etc. That's really completed to and really comfortable to living. This is what making other people's on any other actors were thinking, okay, it's okay to doing corruption. If you still having money, if you still having a lot of money and you have so many links to the other people's, yeah, you're totally well safe. And the corruptors don't think and don't feel what is the meanings of this punishment for their life, and they just think this is kind of the slap in the wrist. That's why our opening government previously said this impoverished to them, giving the payback about 150% more of the amount of corrupting. This is to making an equality between all the prisoners who's living in the jail. So here I wanted to giving a question to the opposite side. What is kind of punishment that you think more better that you can giving to us to handling this kind of corruption? Because you said this punishment is enough. So I wanted to move to the fourth rebuttal. You said that about human rights. But you have to understand what is about the obligation and responsibility. And talking about human rights, we know that all people have their rights in their life. But for people who doing something really bad, giving bad impact to the other people's, like what the corruptors doing, that they are stolen money using the society's money, they have to start taking a responsible to pay back those money, because that's money is the society right, that's society money. So this is totally want to respectful to the others people right, and don't be selfish to your rights. So like what I'm saying in the previous argument, what is the kind of the punishment you want to give to our government, or maybe you want to our government giving some kind of death penalties like what China's country did in their country. So this why we think this to impoverish them is a good option or good thing to giving them as a punishment. And next I wanted to giving my last rebuttal to the opposite side. You said about talking about hide data. We think it's totally doesn't making any sense and really unlogical. Because the BPK, Badan Pengelolaan Keuangan, would be suspicious of this corruptor, and they will get caught easier. Who's anyone or any other people who's cooperate with these corruptors, and they would also go on to the prison. And the BPK would report them to the KPK, and then they would get caught easier and getting arrested. So this is to know how many data that they manipulated, and this is totally easier to them to determine the punishment that really fit into them. So it's totally really confusing. Why is the opposite side thinking this is some kind of advantage to the corruptors? So that's all from the member of the government. Thank you.
I will start my speak in 3, 2, 1. Okay, hello everybody, my name is Patrisia and I'm a government whip. So here I want to explain once again what is the member of government said before. So the child of the corruptor is being lost their education because their parent is corruptor. The government don't think about the impact for the child, but this is the funny thing. This is precisely to educate or teach the children to know the corruption is not good to do. So this can be such a lesson for them. And for the parents who doing corruption, they are such bad parents. Why they are saying like that? Because they are thinking the longer what the risks of their actions to their family and to their child. And I will talking about hide data. I think this is totally doesn't making any sense, because the BPK, Badan Pengelolaan Keuangan, would be suspicious of this corruptor and not will get caught easier, who's also cooperate with this corruptor, and they would also go on prisons. And also I will explain about cannot taking out the label as a corruptor. So what a shameful being labeled as a corruptor. This is such an impact that really taking a long time to being removed. When you went out from the prisons to society, people would mocking on you, don't trust on you anymore, and don't want to build any relationship with you ever again. And you must to put so much effort to making all these things going back well again. This is the impact not being accepted in the society, and this is the risk of corruption. And talking about human rights, we know that all peoples have their own rights in their life, but for people who doing something is not in the accordance with the rule in the states, they should get punishment. And for the corruptor, they're not human by doing corruptions. Like the opening government said, so far the corruptors went away from their punishment with slap in their wrists, which is true. Just like the status quo said, there's a lot of corruptors who live in the high quality prisons or in the luxurious prisons like an apartment. This status quo is very contradictory with the statement that opening oppositions give, which is the current punishment is fair and enough. So I want to ask for the opposite side, what kind of punishments that's suitable for them if the impoverished is too hard for corruptors. So that's why this motion comes up, and we totally agree with this. Secondly, the opening government said we are going to impoverish corruptors not until they can feed themselves, but punishing them by paying back 150% the amount of their corruptions. About this, the opening opposition said by doing this, they will get humiliated and not accepted in the society, which they think it's against the human rights. Well, first of all, not being accepted in the society, they risk of doing corruptions. And about again human rights, let me ask you a question. Is Setia Novanto's punishments obeying the human rights when a 65 years old lady is getting a punished worse than Setia Novanto while she stole a pile of wood just for cooking her food? I agree with the opening government said, giving them rehabilitations after we impoverish them. Why? Corruption is an addiction just like a drugs. By doing rehabilitations, we can get the corruptors to realize that what they are doing is wrong, and also by rehabilitating them, we can find out why are they corrupting people's money. We never know what their reasons, right? So I think this can give us a solution to stop them corrupting people's money by eliminating their reasons. And we also find out how are they corrupting people's money. They could be manipulating data or doing money laundering or any other way that we have known. And we also be aware, prevent, and eliminate these ways. And that is why we agree with this motion, and the closing government deserves to win. Thank you for the time.